Hey guys, I'm back. I wanted to give you guys an update on my panic. My panicking. I'm not panicking anymore. Before I get started though, I just want to let you guys know I'm gonna do like a bloopers vlog where you're gonna see like all the takes that it takes me to finally put one of these up. And so just so you know, if I go like weeks without doing a vlog, it's not because I didn't want to. A lot of times it's just 'cause I didn't have time. And like I can make time to do the vlog, but my children don't want to make time for me to do the vlog. Right now they're sleeping. Right now I got my oldest sleeping in that room and my youngest sleeping in that room. But any other time they're like running around doing all kinds of everything, and I'm like, I do not have time to sit down and do this vlog. Or I'll try, and then one of them will come like hop in my lap, or the other one will be like, mommy, 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 mommy. I'm like, okay, you guys don't want me doing this right now. Got it. Okay. But anyways, I know I'm getting off topic. Lots of vlogs there, lots of bloopers there. I'm actually gonna upload that one day because I think it'll be funny. But anyways, panic gone. Not completely gone, but mostly gone. So a little panic in me is okay. A little panic usually motivates me. I won't say panic, but like when I get in those moods, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. It's like that's a defining moment for me to like, okay, maybe you need to sit down, see what your options are, figure out what the best option, So a little panic in me is good. But I have like a red button in my head. You guys remember those Staples buttons? That was easy. I have a red button in my head, but it doesn't say that was easy. Mine's like panic. And like when I have to make large decisions, I like the little beings in my head press that button and they're like panic, 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 panic. So that is definitely something that I'm working on, is not panicking so much, because for one, it doesn't help any, because I still have to make the decision. And my biggest thing about making major decisions is like, what if I choose the wrong one? What effects is that gonna have? Is that gonna hurt me? And for one, I'm like, panicking about having to make those decisions doesn't change the fact that I still have to make the decision. And either way, whether I panic about it or not, I'm still gonna have to make the decision and live with the consequences, whether they're good or bad. And a lot of times I feel like I panic about things that aren't that big, and I don't realize it until after the fact. Like when I'm staring at the problem head on, it looks this big. And after the fact, it's like, yeah, that was like this big. And really it was my own panic that made it seem this big, and it reminds me of a time, my very, very first job. I was 17 years old, and I worked at a collection agency in Killeen, Texas, and it was really simple collections. It was collections for accounts that were still like owned by the credit card company or the loan people, whoever were collecting on account of, and so our job literally was just to collect payments. That's all we had to do. We weren't like one of those. They have like those. I kind of want to say borderline illegal. I don't think they're illegal, but like where they like harass you for years and years after the account's charged off, and they're trying to, and they're trying to get pennies on the dollar for what they're trying to collect because they paid for the account. We weren't that kind of illustration. We didn't buy accounts. We were contracted. So let's say you had a credit card with like Capital One. We were contracted with Capital One before the account closed. Before the account charged off, these people were only just like a couple months late, if that makes sense. So it was really, really simple. We collect the money. That's all we did. And they were training us. And like I said, I was 17, and they did that a lot. They hired a lot of young people because it was so easy. Well, I, again, have this panic button in my head, and I want to be a perfectionist at everything I do. I've always been that way. I'm like, I have to do it. I have to do it. I have to get it. Well, I was one of the top collectors there, but yet I still panic on every phone call. Because I'm like, I have to get this money. I have to get this money. I have to make the collect. I have to collect on this account. I have to collect on this account. I'm like reading scripts and doing everything they like, all these things that they tell you to do. And one day my boss comes over, and she was actually like one of the head boss, and she's like, Dove, calm down, And she told me, she's like, there's nothing here that you can break that we can't fix. And crazy enough, that saying stuck with me. Here it is, even 10 years later, that saying stuck with me. Because I was like, that's a lot of things in life. There's nothing that I can break that I can't fix. That does not work with relationships. Relationships, a lot of times you break those, you can't really fix them because they're kind of relying on another person, But that's not the point. break it, life goes on, you know? And so I started kind of putting that into my life. And I think I need to get back to using that a lot more as well. But I said that to say because I was panicking. I was panicking because my lease is up in November, and I was like, now what do I do? Do I stay in Charlotte? Do I move to Atlanta? Do I move to California? In addition to moving, I saved up all this money to buy a car, and then I kind of panicked because I was like, I don't want to spend a large sum of money. Do I still get the car? And I'm like, I work from home. And then I recently lost my childcare. That sucks, but again, struggles of a single mom. So like I was doing temp jobs and also getting income from speaking engagements. And now it's like, okay, I can't do that either because I don't have anyone to watch my children. So it's like, okay, so now it's, you know, a lot of moving pieces going on leading up to, plus I have my book tour in October. Then my book tour ends 2 weeks before I'm moving. So it's like, it doesn't give me a large window right there. Plus I'm still prepping for this book tour, prepping for this move that I'm about to make. And then I have to decide, where am I moving to? What is going to be the best decision for me, for my children, for my career? So it's like, okay, a lot of moving pieces here. But again, the panicking was not necessary. So I have to kind of just tell myself, calm down. First of all, those problems seem this big right now, but they're really not. You're going on a book tour, but for one, I've planned for this. You know, I've prepared for this. I'm still, it's going well. The preparations for the book tour are not going bad. So why are you panicking about something that's going well? You should be happy about the accomplishments. And then this move, you know, it's going to be another life experience. I've lived in like a lot of places. I'm not even a lot of places. To the point where I don't even know if it's funny anymore. Like I've lived a lot of places. But it's like, okay, so again, you should make the decision on what's going to be best for you. Whatever decision that I make isn't going to be a bad decision. And let's say I do move to Atlanta and I'm like, you know, it's cool here. Obviously, Atlanta's not a bad place. Like, okay, it's cool here, not really what I needed. I can always move, you know. Yes, I always say that I hate moving so much, but in the end, I've learned something everywhere I've been. I have a lot of life experience, and I think that it helps me, and it makes me a better person, and it teaches me a lot, and I should not be ashamed of having life experience, you know, the fact that I've lived a lot of places, the fact that I've, you know, ran a lot of businesses, the fact that I've gone to a bunch of different colleges and majored in a bunch of different things, and yes, I have different licenses, and I have different certifications, and I don't use half of them. But they were still experiences, and I like them. I enjoy them. I enjoy every experience in life that I've had, despite the fact that during most of those experiences, I was like, oh my gosh, what's going on? Where is my life heading? What am I doing? Or I'll think that I'll live in this city. I'll go to school for this. This is what my life's going to be. And then a year later, I'm like, maybe not, you know? But, okay, I'm getting off topic here. The point of the matter is that even if I were to if I would have moved to Atlanta and decided that maybe it wasn't the best option, then I would move. It's really not as difficult as I was making it seem. In the end, though, I did decide to move to California. My sister called me and she's like, why are you panicking crazy? That's how my sister talks to me. And we talked it out, and moving to California is definitely the best option. For one, because she said that I could stay with her to kind of get on my feet, because that was another thing that I had. So, okay, I've saved all this money. I have income coming in. My biggest fear is spending the money. Especially large sums of it, because then it's like, what if I take a large sum of cash, spend it here, realize that wasn't the best thing, and I'm out of it. And that has been my biggest problem, because remember when I said there's nothing that you can break that you can't fix? For some people, money is one of those things that you can't fix. You know, there are people who are extremely, extremely wealthy, and they go off on these business ventures, and they go off and, you know, they make bad decisions with money, but they have a constant supply of it. You know, let's say they were, I don't know, born to a millionaire or something. You know, it's like if they blow a bunch of money, they always have somewhere else to go and get more. Well, last year, being in the situation that I was in, being homeless with my children, and not really having much, it's like I don't want to go back there. So what if I make decisions that cause me to end up back there? And for one, the circumstances are completely different, so that's not something I need to be panicking about. Last year I was 8 months pregnant, and no one would hire me, and it was just like a bunch of other crazy things going on, and pretty much every single factor that I had in my life that led up to the situation I was in last year, it's not a factor anymore. So I'm panicking about something that's already been resolved. So again, the panic button was not really necessary. So I have calmed down now, and I'm working on not pressing that panic button so much. I'm gonna show you guys my room one day. I'm gonna do a vlog on a tour of my room, because I have 4 different vision boards in my room. And they help. They really, really help. I have a vision board for my finances. I have one for my 5-year plan. I have one for my life. And then I have one for my business another business that I'm opening up. And they help so much. They help so much. Now I know most people have 1, and I'm like, I got 4. Because I'm extra, I'm extra. I do things like that. But if there were ever a poster child for you can do anything you want, it's Donald Trump. It's Donald Trump. Because you have here a man, not even because his dad gave him $1 billion or anything like that, because he comes from all this. No, it's because this is a dude who will constantly show you that. I'll give you an example. Donald Trump doesn't have to write his own speeches. I have to write my own speeches. I have to make sure they sound good. I have to put in hours and hours of research and practice. And okay, I need to make sure that this comes off right. Because I say a lot. I talk with my hands a lot. Those are things you really want to do in a professional setting. When I speak to younger kids, it doesn't really matter. I'm like, they don't pay attention to stuff like that. But when you're speaking to adults, especially professionals, you're like, okay, I have to come off as, professional. I can't be because they're not going to be able to really, it's going to distract them from what I'm saying, and they're not going to get the message. So I'm like, okay, I have to put a lot of time into this. Donald Trump doesn't. He literally has professionals writing his speeches, and not even just any professionals. These are professionals that went to Ivy League colleges and have years of experience writing. That's all they did was write, and now they write for the president. And then behind that team is a team of interns who are all studying at Ivy League colleges, he has good professionals writing for him. All he has to do is study it, practice it before he goes on there, read the teleprompter. He can't even do that. He cannot, simply read the teleprompter. He can't. Donald Trump will get in front of large crowds and say the most ridiculous things, and half the crowd still listens to him, And then it's on the other hand, you have someone like Michelle Obama, who is God's gift to Earth, and people still find something to hate her for. There's still people out in the world who are like, oh my gosh, Michelle Obama, a horrible person, whoa. And you're like, where? But that's not the point. The point is, those should be examples of why, for one, you should just be yourself. You should totally be yourself and go for things that you want to go for. Even if, for one, you don't have the experience in it. Donald Trump knows nothing about politics. He doesn't even know geography. Some of the countries he's negotiating with, he doesn't know where they are or who runs them. Even when it's him. But that's not the point. So it's but yet he's president of the country, And so if there was ever a poster child for you can do anything you want to do, it's Donald Trump. Because if he can do it, you can do it. I can do it. And people are like, well, he had money. That is for one, the only reason he has money because he doesn't give up. This is a dude who's filed bankruptcy 8 times, and half his businesses suck, and they end up suing him and do something else, but then he'll take the money he has and I'll start all over, But the point matters that, for one, I've got to learn to stop panicking. I know it's how'd you get off that topic? topic. This is what happens when I don't plan out my vlogs. I'm gonna have like 8 different subjects on one vlog, and you're just gonna have to keep up. But no, panic attack gone. And again, that's something I'm working on with this redirection in my life, is not panicking so much, not stressing so much, not making little problems into big problems, because it doesn't do anything. You know, I'm at a good place peacefully right now, and I'm definitely grateful for that, because I'm not always, and I am right now, and I want to keep it that way. I really, really do. So that is going to be my vlog for today, because I can hear my youngest son waking up in his room, so I have to go get him. Again, the struggles of a mom. But I will see you guys later, and I will do a business tip next week, because I know I haven't done one in like forever. And I'm also going to do another goal digger, because I want to update you guys on those goals that I set forth, like, you know, 3 or 4 months ago. I've actually hit majority of them, and the ones that I didn't hit is because like I changed it. Because like I said, I did decide not to buy a car, and it hasn't really affected my life anyway. Especially because I think the biggest thing it affected mostly was when I was going out. I would, you know, I was like, okay, I have to find like an Uber or something. I have to call an Uber. Well, now that I don't have a babysitter, can't leave my house. I really don't need a car. I mean, I can leave my house, but you know, I can still, you know, but those were really the only things I left my house for, were to go to speaking engagements and to go to temp jobs. And I'm not doing those anymore, so I really didn't need to spend the money on a car anyway. So what I'm going to do is, when I move to California in November, then I'll start looking for a car, because it's only 2 months off. 2 months away from moving to Los Angeles. Yay! Alright guys, I'm going to end it here, and I will see y'all later. Bye!